Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everybody. How are you doing this evening? I'm going to tell you I'm doing very well. It's February the 28th. It's a Wednesday. It's 7 o'clock on the East Coast. And guess what? You have tuned into the Power of Transformation broadcast. And I'm your hostess, Dr. Paula Obie, and we are still in our special edition celebration in the whole month of February. I've been just as happy, and tonight we're going to move this a little bit further down the road, and we're going to have such a great show. And you know what? I'm just really grateful that you're here, but I want other people to join us as well. So, you know what we do? We do it every week. We text them, we tag them, and if you have a moment, you call them. But if you don't have time, just wait. Just text them and tag them and tell them to join us because we're going to have a wonderful show tonight. And while you're doing that, I'm going to text a couple of people myself, and we'll be right back. See you soon. I'm back. Do I happen to just look excited? I mean, I feel like I'm just majorly excited because we have been focusing on a blessing that God gave me a year ago, and we just decided to celebrate the entire month of February. Who does that? That would be me. But tonight is a very special edition. You know why? I was like on the move today to get people. I felt like I was an investigative reporter. I was talking to people personally who purchased the book, and I asked them questions. And I'm going to do some more sharing because I think that was so fun. And remember, I told you that I was going to be giving away novels, but tonight is the night. Who knows? I might throw a mystery, gift up in there. But I'm going to tell you this night is just special. It's been special all month, but this is an extra special month because this is the last Wednesday in February. And I'm going to tell you my this novel. It debuted last year, and the name of the novel is Adria's Transformation. And I've been so excited about it because it seems like it's a kind of a relaunch, if you will. I've kind of relaunched it, and I've reached out to some people, and they're reaching back to me. And after 1 year, I understand that the excitement is growing. Why? Because I've taken the time to set the stage. I'm going to do it again tonight. This is actually a Christian fiction novel. I probably talked to 15 people today, and none of them had ever heard of Christian fiction. Well, let me tell you, I don't know how to write Christian fiction, but there's a God, and He knew exactly what to do. So today we were talking about Christian fiction in my culture, definitely in my Christian culture. That was a little bit difficult for people to really absorb. I mean, they were looking at me like, what does that mean? Because they weren't sure what to expect. However, once I told my story about how the young lady found God and then found her love, it turned into a conversation about how sometimes, honey, we get lost or we move into a different direction. And the God that we love will bring us back. And when He brings us back, He brings us back and gives us gifts. And this particular gift, for this particular time, He gave her the gift of a loving husband. So I am just grateful to share this book. It's just a beautiful conversation about who God is and who God can be in your life. And it represents a Christian culture. I told you, I think a couple of weeks ago, that one of my folks said it's rated G for God. I have a young lady who was 12. Her mother allowed her to read it. She loved it. I had someone who's 70 some years of age. She loved it. Why? Because it's easy to read and it's a message that is something that's relatable. So let's talk about my investigation today. It's very cool. So I walked up to the first person. I said, I'm going to have a seat. Do you have a minute? You've purchased my book and you've read it. So tell me, what did you love about it? She said, it's relatable. It's real. It's really real. I feel like that what you describe and all the scenes that are in the book are something that I can relate to, members of my family, members of my community, and that meant a lot to me. And she said, your characters had character. I didn't have time to really get into a deep conversation about what she meant, but in my heart, this is what I felt. You know how many times we look at characters and they don't have a lot of integrity? And for some environments, that's what sells the book, but not in a Christian environment. We don't want people to not have integrity. We have faults because we, are human, but to not have integrity and have that reflect on our lives, that would have been a difficult win and a difficult sale. And it would not have been something that I would have been able to publish. So she said, it's real, it's realistic, it's about life and life's challenges. And she said, I really like the story. The story itself made me think of not just me, but people that I know. See, that's important to me. That was one of the number one things that I thought about. I thought about the books that I read. And I thought about how I want to be able to experience all of the emotions in the book. I want to get angry. I want to cry. I want to laugh. I want to experience all of the emotions. And God was so good because he allowed that to happen. Now, I've told you that I had some really cool, 3 of them, writing coaches, and they just guided me along the way. So, this was in God's plan. So that was the first person, and we laughed and giggled about a couple of parts of it, and I thought it was really cool. So I decided to ask another young lady because she was walking into our area. And I asked her this question. I said, remember the story you told me about your daughter? You purchased the book and took it home. Her daughter was 12 at the time, and her daughter took the book from her and read it. And read the whole thing. And she said, Mom, you've got to read this. My eyes filled with tears. And she said, my daughter reads a lot, but to have her be so passionate, I knew that it was something that was good. And she said it was something that I didn't mind her reading. And when I read it, she says, oh yeah, I would expect Dr. Obie to write something like this so that it crossed the age lines. That's ministry. And that's cool. So now I've got a 12-year-old in the conversation and above, all ages. So I walked down the hall because I wanted to talk to someone else. What did you think about the book? And what was your favorite part? When you're talking to somebody about their favorite part, sometimes it's hard. She said, well, it's hard. I just like the way it flowed. I like the way it flowed, and I could put it down and I could pick it back up, and I just liked it. And at some points I laughed. Very good. And at some parts of it, I wasn't very happy. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Because in life can get hard. We're not going to laugh about it. But it can get really cool, and we can laugh about it. And as we're moving through the storyline, you're going to have some challenges in life, as I said before. The way we have challenges in real life, they had challenges in life. However, God was still in the midst of the story. God is still in the midst of each chapter. God is still in the midst of it. That is my personal testimony, that everything I've ever done, God has always been in the midst of it. So I am just grateful. So I just kept rolling down the hallway. I figured I'm going to talk to as many people as I can and get their opinion. Now, I have not been able to connect with the young lady who almost started crying in the gym, because the book will also have grief and loss. And I haven't been able to confirm that, but that I am thinking that was the one area where, in the gym, she wasn't prepared for it. So she said, Dr. Obie almost had me crying in the gym. And this was also the young lady who just took the book from her friend and said, oh, what's this? I love this story. Oh, what's this? Well, this is my blah 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 book, and took it and took it away to read it. When I think about ministry, when I think about what it takes to show people who God can be in your life, this is an example of what we need to be able to do. If you're going to say Christian, and you are a Christian, and it's Christian fiction, it still should focus on God. So I know you're going to love it. I know you're going to love it as much as the other folks loved it. I'm hurrying on down the road because there are more people that I talk to. Okay, so I asked this mother and her daughter. It was really weird. This is weird. I sold a book, right? And the person's boss bought a book for her. Follow me now. Purchased the book. I am wrapping the book in the bag, and I'm getting ready to deliver the book to her. Guess what happens? She starts walking down the hall with the book in front of her like this. And I'm like, what are you doing? I thought she had gone into my office and picked up the book. She's like, no, I purchased it on Amazon. I saw you walk down the hall and I wanted you to see that I was reading it. And I said, well, honey, someone has gifted the book to you. So now you can actually give that one to your daughter. I love giving. I love gifting. And I believe in a couple of minutes, we're going to have to start giving things away. I believe. But before we do that, I want you to know that we're already starting to work on, the second book. You know that there is more to their story. But I'm just so happy about what God has done. And I want you, I say this, I said it last time, I'm going to say it again. I know that there is at least one person on the line, one person watching the broadcast. You have pushed something to the side because someone did not encourage you, or you thought, oh, it's not necessary, or it's no big deal. Let me tell you something. You go and dust it off. Whatever it is, just dust it off. If it's an idea, ignite it. Do not sit on something that God has given you. Remember, he gives it to you for a purpose. I'm telling you, when you're sometimes in your darkest hour, and let's say that you're a songwriter, you can go back to that song, you can sing it, and you can be transformed to another place. Remember, we're talking about the power of transformation. Words can transform you, and so can music. So again, let me encourage you, because many of you have dreams. You've talked about it. Some of you have not talked about it, but you've written it in your diary or you've written it in your journal, and you let fear cripple you. That's what fear does. That's what it would have done to me if I'd let it. But we're going to stamp out fear, and we're going to walk in faith. And you're going to go and you're going to be obedient, because he gives us all something special to use for our own journey and to share with others. If I was in the church, I'd pass the plate. But right now, I'm going to give away something. How about that? We're going to give away some books. I know. Look at that. Just look at that. I asked some folks, to give me some recommendations for folks who have not purchased the book. And we were going to give them away. And I'm ready. I'm ready to give away the first novel. Ready? Let's do it. I don't have that music on, but I kind of like the way it's spinning. So Cheryl, you are the winner. You're the first winner. She was the first person I asked. Oh, okay. All right, let's see. Did I get the name wrong? Okay. Marie, you are the first winner. All right, no problem. And I'm going to tell you something. When I sit and I look at what we're doing, giving is a big part of ministry, because God is, let me write the name down. God is a giver. All right, so let's do it again. Let's see who is the next person. All right, let's spin. Brenda! Brenda is the next person. Now, what are they going to receive? They're going to receive their own personal autographed copy. So the question could be to you, well, what if they already have a copy of the book? Well, then they can then gift the book to someone else, right? Because we're going to share the love tonight. We're going to share the love. How about one more time? Let's do it one more time. Okay, Brenda, we have your name. All right. Cynthia! Cynthia, you are the winner. Well, that's three folks. I think we're gonna have two winners. We're gonna have Cynthia and Tahara. How about that? Let's just do that. Let's just do that. Technology and I, so it's just fun. You have to have a good time. So, all right. Did you enjoy the wasn't that cool? And the applause. I mean, I was thinking that I would do the applause, but hey, it did its own applause. So I'm so excited. Okay, so we have our list. I know you are. I'll be contacting you, confirming your address because I have to actually mail this book to you. Okay? And I'll also have a little something sweet in there for you as well. All right, so let's get back to my investigation today. I really want to know. It's not my little words. I really wanted to know a lot about what really makes a person turn the page. We talk about that. What makes them turn the page? Whenever you're reading a book, and I'm good for having like 5 books that I'm reading at one time, so I'll like put a bookmark and put it to the side. That's just me. I may do chapter 1 and then put it to the side, and then I've got 4 or 5, but I'm eventually going to read all of them. But I'm just that kind of reader. But there has to be something that allows me to go back to that book and turn the page. What does it? For me, I have to see myself, me, in one of the characters. I have to envision that could be me. Maybe I might say, oh, thank God it's not. You know how we do. Whew, that could have been me. But I have to envision and connect with the character. So, of course, today, someone asked me, well, what's your favorite part of the book? You know how we feel about it. What is your favorite book? I thought it was a really good question, and I didn't even hesitate. I said, I like the very first chapter. I'm not going to tell you all of it, but I like the very first chapter because, see, she was trying to be cool. And she come face to face with her future husband and did not know it. But something happened and they connected. And that connection really confirmed for her that her life was going to change. Now, how many of you can relate to having a connection and knowing that your life is getting ready to change? I mean, it's just like the weird things that comes over you. And you're like, you know what? Something's different. That's my favorite one. Because no matter what, even though she was trying to hide it from her friend, you know how we are. She was trying to be cool, hanging out in the restaurant, they're enjoying the meal and having coffee and key lime pie, I will tell you that. And then she comes face to face and she makes a face. And her best friend goes, I saw that. That's important to have someone who cares about you, to have someone who supports you. And that's why I really love it. Because she has a support system that is amazing. Okay? So let's go. I'm Inspector again. Let me flip it over. So I asked another young lady, what did you like about the book? And she said the same words, real, the book is realistic. But she also said, I never ever read a Christian fiction book. I really, really didn't know what to expect. You know how people say, I bought it because it was you, but I really didn't know what to expect from it. She said, but when I sat down and I took time to start reading, it reminds me of how you have to be really open and vulnerable when you are meeting someone and you are starting a relationship. And she said, I found it to be exactly what I would have liked for it to be, that you did not trash the characters. I'm saying this exactly the way I want to, that you did not trash the characters, that you did not bring anything in it that I couldn't relate to. She said, I can relate. Do you know how important that is? I'm getting ready to get on my soapbox a little bit. And I do that. Have you ever met Christians, some Christians, where you're just wondering where God is in their life? They have like an attitude and maybe a little bit mean spirited. Maybe they're hurt or damaged, but you're talking to them, they're talking to you, and the whole time you're around them, you're like wanting to leave. And then they turn around and ask you to come to their church. And you're like, okay, maybe one day. Maybe you're not going. Why? This person isn't relatable as far as God is concerned. You've read a few scriptures. You do not recognize God in this person's life. You're a Christian, right? Somebody's supposed to see God in your life. So the one thing that I'm going to say to you, and the one thing that I'm going to keep saying to myself, we just need to keep putting God first. People know we have problems. Everybody has problems. Everybody has issues. Some of our most impactful podcasts on ALH broadcasting, when people share their stories, it will make you cry because we go through things. But you need to understand that grace is for everybody, right? So just like he showed you grace, you need to show grace to other people. You need to give them a chance. I am not saying that you should have people just trample all over you, because, that's not what I'm saying. But you need to be able to allow the love of God. If you saying that you are a Christian and a born again Christian, you need to have the love of God that shows through what you do. And if that's the case, you're not going to have any problem inviting me to your church. You're not going to have any problem inviting me to your Bible study. You're not going to have any problem. You know how they have those little fundraisers where you give money, you put your name down. You won't have a problem. But if there is a disconnect between the way you represent God and the way God is represented in the Bible, you might have a little issue with people really understanding the love of God. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'll save a little bit more of that for later. But when someone says, I see God in the book, that makes me happy, because that's exactly what I want. And not just God, but the relationship that God has, the love that God has. I like that. Do you like that? I did. She almost made me cry. Sometimes people, when they make you cry when they give you their stories, but those stories are real. So I'm going to get off of that. That got a little heavy, and we're going to give away a couple of more books. Is that okay? Let's do it. All right. I feel like I need music or something. Our next winner, Jocelyn! Jocelyn, I just put you on the list. You just confirmed, so you got in there. Look at God. Okay. All right. So that's great. So I have a couple of other gifts in addition to the books, to give away. So I've had Jocelyn, but I have a couple of other surprise gifts. And I started asking you questions last week, right? I'm going to refresh your memory. I had two questions. And if you read the book, I gave you a little bit of time, then you should be able to answer these questions. So here's the first question. What is Adria's sister's name? Now, Adria's sister, if you've read it, she is a little bit of a character, in herself. She's a little different. We all have had people a little different. What is Adria's sister's name? So if you know the name of Adria's sister, then just place it in the comments, and then you will receive a special gift. Isn't that cool? That's exciting. What is Adria's sister's name? All right. The second question that I asked for a very special gift is, what is Bryson's sister's name? Again, place the name in the comments, and you'll have a special gift. Now, I'm going to tell you, I love to give away gift cards. Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Visa gift cards. You never know what you're going to get. But those are two very, 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 very special people very special folks in the book. And I thought if you've read it at all, you'll know the sister, Adria's sister's name, and you know Bryson's sister's name. Okay? All right. So let's keep it moving. I talked to some more people. You might ask, well, what else do you do today? I talked to some more people. And I asked them this question, and this is another question. How many people would you recommend this book to? And I just, I was bold because I think we need to be bold. And you know what they said? I'd recommend it to a lot of people. I feel like maybe you need to do some more advertising. So where can the book be found? Well, I'm going to tell you where you can purchase Ageless Transformation on Amazon. It's been out on Amazon for a year. It's a paperback. An Audible book can be purchased in English only. I have had some recommendations to have it in another language. We're working on that for the second, maybe third launch. But I love the enthusiasm when people say, I have another audience over here I want you to reach. And I'm like, I'm all over that. And definitely that's a vision in the future. But you can purchase it on Amazon. You can also go to my Facebook page if you want an autographed copy, and you can send me a message in my Facebook or in my messenger, and give me your information. I'll give you my Cash App. I'll give you everything you need, and then I will send the book to you and autograph it. Isn't that cool? Right? I think it's wonderful. Now, coming up for one of our shows, we're going to have what I call a book club conversation. I couldn't get all my folks together for today, but we're going to have a book club. It will be about 4 or 5 of us. And we're just going to talk. We're going to ask questions, and we're just going to just be open about certain things, because the book is about love. And a lot of people have a lot to say about love. And the book is about God. And I want to be able to connect the dots, because I do see this as an opportunity to minister to folks. I really do. But I also see it as an opportunity just to get some friends together and sit down and talk about just a blessing that God has given me. God is an amazing God. I say it every day. He's awesome. And he has a plan for you the way he has a plan for me. Jeremiah 29:11. He says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, plans to prosper you. That means he has something inside of you that you want to reach. Now, he knew what Adrian wanted. He knew what Bryson wanted. And once they align themselves with God, align their lives, he met their need. He came to their rescue. We should really do the same thing. God, ask the question, what do you want from me? This is what I want. But does that align with you? Because if it aligns with you, then God says, with me, all things are possible. Now we're getting close to the mark where I have to leave you. And I want to give away a couple of more books, maybe a couple of more gifts. What do you think? What kind of, am I in a giving mood? Absolutely. All right, so let's have another drawing for a book, and I'll take down the name. Isn't this fun? Got it. Patricia. Now, did I tell you how I got the names? You can just leave that there. That's fine. Did I tell you? I called people and asked them to recommend somebody. That's how. One person said I'm recommending myself, but I said I want you to think of someone who has not purchased the book, because I want to gift them the book. So they gave me all these names, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I know who you are. And when I reach out to you, it will make a connection. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for you. It's about 7:30. I want to talk about I want to have one more topic of discussion. I'm hitting it hard. And I know I am, but I'm doing it in love. Don't be afraid. Just don't. Many of us have grown up in environments where people didn't think any of this was important. You just read, or you do the 5 things or the 6 things, and that was all you discussed, and that was all you mentioned. And there you were sitting there with a dream, with an idea, with something that God has given you. And nobody discussed it. I'm going to challenge you today, tonight actually, to ask God to remove the fear. Because it's not just about you. And I heard someone say this the other day, what you're doing now, you're creating a legacy for your family and for your grandchildren and for your great grandchildren and the members of your family. You're setting the foundation right now for them to stand on. So if you get out of your comfort zone, if you knock down the walls of fear, yes, you're going to need God to knock down the walls of fear. Because what's going to happen is this, I can guarantee it. You'll make up in your mind, I'm going to have my business plan. I'm going to have some counseling, financial counseling. I'm going to pursue my vision. And then everything is just going to go crazy. Everything is just going to go crazy. And that's how it's done. Just so that you can sit down and say, God, I cannot do this by myself. I'm going to need your help. Prepare me for this vision. Prepare me for this journey. Connect me with some right people. I've told you, if it wasn't for my coworker, I would not be here. Her name is Victoria. And I met her on an assignment that was temporary. It wasn't even a full-time assignment, but the connection was perfect. And I'm here. And there are too many of us that are walking around with some great dreams, great ideas, great talents. It's all inside of you. And you've placed everyone else in front of you. Well, now is your time. And I'm going to keep saying it until you figure it out. Because what's going to happen is someone else is going to get ignited. And you're going to be watching them. Well, just know that God has a plan for you. I'm not on my soapbox for nothing. I just feel like we have to encourage people. I'm excited. I want you to be excited. He did something special for me. I know he's going to do something special for you. All right, so we're almost done. You know, the time just flies when we're just having a great conversation. All right, so we have a couple more books, maybe 4 to give away. Maybe 1, and then we'll give away a couple of gifts. Let's try it again. All right. The winner, Wendy. Brandy's out on the West Coast. I'm going to have to call her and tell her, you won. You won. Let's try it again. Everybody's a winner tonight. How about that? Now, I'm going to, do I need, Debbie, do I need to set the stage a little bit?
Just bear with us. It looks like Dr. Paula might be having a little bit of technical difficulties. Let's see if we can get her back on and have her end the show for us. Oh, looks like we have lost Dr. Paula, but I'm sure she would say thank you for watching the show and stay tuned for next week.